And welcome to another Huddle Breakdown Extra Time. I'm your host Martin Murphy, joined by James this week. No Alan. Alan's in Club Tropicana at the moment, enjoying himself, I believe, James. Free drink and all the rest of it. Is that true?
Either that or he's in the hospital with dealing with being unfit, trying to do this insanity that he's in the middle of attempting with this walking 8,000 miles.
Wow.
What's that Scottish group? The
Proclaimers.
The Proclaimers. That's right.
Yeah.
I'll walk 500 miles. I think he must be a big Proclaimers fan, trying to implement their song. But no, he'll be back next week. We wish him well. He's doing great from all accounts.
Fantastic.
So, yep. No, good. And I have to say, sincere condolences to our viewers and listeners having to put up with me without Alan twice in 1 week. It's just,
twice. That's right. You're on with Laura. Yeah.
Yeah. A little insight into what my poor wife has to put up with and living near me this frequently. But so yeah, apologies.
What will be interesting looking at it from a data point of view is the drop-off between your show with Laura and this one, I guess, see how it goes. But no, James will be hanging in your every word, mate. I did listen to the show with yourself and Laura, and yeah, as usual, some really great chat there. So if you haven't had the chance, folks, and this is you just listening for the first time this week, do please go back and listen to both of them there. Some really, really good discussion. And obviously we'll be touching on that as we do in extra time and a little bit more depth as well. So, James, a lot happening in Scottish football at the moment. Obviously, we'll be getting into...
What a wild week, Martin. What a wild week.
All sorts of takeovers, managerial rumours, managerial changes, etc. What's your thoughts?
Well, I thought I'd start this week by relating to another whirlwind period. And so I'm gonna read. I did a thread analyzing a newly hired manager at a football club a few years back, and my analysis was not well greeted, let's say. So here are some comments relative to this favorable analysis that I had done on this unnamed manager being hired. I think you'll quickly realize who it was. What are you smoking? From Eddie Howe to this no mark in less than a day? Guarantee season ticket sales tank if this guy is appointed. The standard in Japan is shite. Anyone with any knowledge of football and or without the blinkers on knows this is an insane appointment. We have a chance to qualify for the Champions League. And if we win the league next year, probably go straight into Champions League automatically. A guy who was 9th in Japan and did a wee stint in the Greek 3rd division ain't helping in those aims. He is also not one on the way up with untapped potential. A massive gamble, and one we don't need to take. There are plenty of better managers available. Not his fault, but our board is ripping it. Love reading all the excuses for this guy. If the Huns appointed him, we would be pissing ourselves laughing. He is not the best manager available to us. Win half his career games as a manager at club and an international level, playing mainly in low regions, worse maybe than Scotland overall. And this is my favorite one, just in case people accuse me of cherry picking. Love the fact that the guy's been written off by this is from May 31st, by the way, 2021. This one. Love the fact that the guy's been written off by so many already when Australia and Japan are higher in the world rankings than Scotland. Every appointment is a risk, but it's came from our prospective director of football. That was the speculation at the time. If people remember, there was talk that Harkin might be coming in from the City Group. Then let's see where it takes us. This is the structure most we're looking to do. So there's conversation about structure at the time, right? Remember, we might be appointing a director of football, and Don Mackay was coming in to be CEO, and we were going to be modernizing our football structure once the Eddie Howe appointment collapsed. And then I did a follow-up thread on this was actually from May 29th, also in response to kind of the consensus response to my thread that was on May 28th. And I summarized that these were the kind of common retorts. J League is tin pot. He's another Dyla or Pedro. He's never managed a big club with this size budget, and he's only ever won the league in Japan. Right. So that was the insanity that we were kind of experiencing within the Celtic support. Now, again, the context of this is important, right? We had just come off of the disaster, the epic disaster of the 10 in a row season. We were in the midst of lockdowns in and out. The pandemic was horrible, kind of wreaking havoc on people's mental health. And I can speak from personal experience. The frequency of day drinking in my life had gone up quite a bit at that point. And I think a lot of people were having different behavioral issues and lifestyle challenges through that era. So, we think back now about how glowingly and how great that Ange era was, particularly domestically. But there was a really rough adoption phase there. And to highlight this, I'm gonna quiz you a little bit here, Martin.
Oh no!
Okay, so you may remember that we had a Champions League qualifier to go through that season. Do you remember that?
Yeah, right. Vaguely. It all seems so long. It's all a dim and distant memory now. I can remember things from about 30 and 40 years ago, probably more clearly.
I believe it was qualifying round 2, so we would had to have won this one to get into the final knockout stage, which again, it might sound familiar to another club that's going through a similar situation now in Glasgow. We had to play Midtjylland.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you name the starting back four?
Oh my God.
Against Midtjylland in the first game. This was at home at Celtic Park.
Well, going by that, it's obviously guys who maybe didn't feature so much, and we had a few changes to make. So
I'll say back five too.
I was going to say, did the boy Montgomery play?
No, he was on the bench and came in as a sub.
He was on the bench, right? So I used sub. It was
well, I'm sorry, he was on the bench. He wasn't a sub that game.
Right, sorry.
He subbed in the second leg. Yeah.
There was a lad in central defence. I'm trying to remember his name. Was it an Irish? Was it a Connell or something like that?
There was a Murray.
Dane Murray played in that.
Dane Murray came on as a substitute because
Tony Ralston must have played, surely.
Tony Ralston.
Yeah.
Greg Taylor. Stephen Welsh.
Oh, of course, Welsh, because I knew the central defence hadn't been formed at that point.
Well, and the reason that Dane Murray came on at halftime was because a certain infamous Champions League qualifier starter at center back for Celtic continued his legacy under multiple managers starting at center back, and his name would be...
Is it Beaton?
Yes.
Yeah, and there's a goalkeeper, Barkas.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he got sent off. Okay. But
no great loss.
No. Well, so we squeaked out a 1-1 draw. Ishmael Soro was in midfield with Callum McGregor. You had Ryan Christie, Odsonne Edouard, David Turnbull, and Leo Labada filled out the starting 11.
Not so bad, actually, in the forward positions in a lot of ways there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Albion Ayeti followed Murray, and Tom Rokic came on as the subs. Now, the bench, this is delightful. You ready for the bench?
Yeah, I'll just strap myself in.
So the bench, the unplayed subs, you had Henderson. I forget which Henderson it was. Ewan Henderson, James Forrest, Lee Griffiths.
Oh, that was when he was eating pies and tonics tea cakes, wasn't it?
This is right before he bombed out. Liam Shaw, remember him?
Oh yeah.
Adam Montgomery, one Bolingoli.
Wow.
Usazi Urugidi. I don't know if you remember him. We just signed him that summer.
I do, yeah. Uh-huh.
And then Connor Hazard, and Scott Bain were the two keepers on the bench.
Oh, good. We had two goalkeepers on the bench. That shows you what a strong pool we must have had.
That's right.
Wow, making up the numbers with two goalkeepers on the bench.
So let's fast forward to the league table on October 1st. Do you remember what the league table was on October 1st?
We hope you enjoyed this free preview from all of us here at the Huddle Breakdown. We know you have options and we really appreciate you tuning in. To hear the rest of this episode and for much more Huddle Breakdown content, head on over to www.huddlebreakdown.com. We hope you consider subscribing. Thank you.